What's up everyone and welcome! In this episode we're going to talk about the TA505 cybercrime group coming back online with new toys to do some really nasty things. As usual, we'll review the story and then we'll look back and see what we can learn from this. How can we immediately integrate these learnings into our security portfolio? So let's get started.
Oh, drat these computers. They're so naughty and so complex. I could pinch them.
The TA505 cybercrime group is whirring its financial rip-off machinery back up, pelting malware at a range of industries in what was initially low-volume waves that researchers saw then spiral up later last month. They do bad things, but they're so tricky that tracking them is a ton of fun, said Sherrod DeGrippo, Vice President, Threat Research and Detection at Proofpoint. Tracking TA505 is one of life's guilty little pleasures, she admitted. They are a trailblazer in the world of cybercrime, regularly changing up their tactics, techniques, and procedures, or TTPs. TA505, aka Hive 0065, is a gang of cybercooks involved in both financial swindles and state-sponsored actions. Proofpoint researchers describe the group as being one of the more prolific actors that they track.
Hide me, quick! Hide me! Here, hide here, quick! All right, rabbits, where's Rocky? Where's he hiding? He's not in this stove. Oh-ho, he's hiding in the stove, eh? Would I throw a lighted match in there if he was in there? Oh, no, you don't! Take me with you. Please, don't leave me with that screwy rabbit. Oh, I confess. I did it. Arrest me! Arrest me!
It's behind the biggest spam campaigns the firm has ever seen, namely distribution of the Dridex banking trojan. Proofpoint has also tracked the gang distributing Locky and Jaff ransomwares, the Trick banking trojan, and others in very high volumes, they say. TA505, which actively targets a slew of industries including finance, retail, and restaurants, has been active since at least 2014. It's known for frequent malware switchups and for driving global trends in criminal malware distribution. The most recent bout of campaigns is reminiscent of TA505's activity from 2019 and 2020, but it doesn't lack some new, intriguing elements, DeGrippo said, including spiffed-up tools and exotic languages. In addition to updating the FlawedGrace remote access trojan, or RAT, they also overhauled their intermediate load stages, replacing the trusty Get2 with several new downloaders that are coded in unusual scripting languages, she noted. True to form, the gang's latest campaigns are distributed across a wide range of industries. They're also showing up with new gear, including an upgraded Kickstart loader, the Mirror Blast loader that downloads Rebel script stagers, the retooled FlawedGrace RAT, and updated malicious XL attachments. In an analysis published on Tuesday, Proofpoint said that its researchers have been tracking renewed malware campaigns from TA505 that started out slowly at the beginning of September, with only several thousand emails per wave, distributing malicious XL attachments. And then they pumped up the volume later in the month, resulting in tens to hundreds of thousands of emails by the end of September. Many of the campaigns, particularly the hefty ones, strongly resemble what the gang was up to between 2019 and 2020, including similar domain name conventions, email lures, Excel file lures, and the delivery of the FlawedGrace RAT, according to the write-up. In the early September waves of the email attacks, TA505 used more specific lures that didn't affect as many industries as more recent October 2021 campaigns, Proofpoint researchers said. Example lures include legal, media release, situation report, and health claim themes, according to the analysis. By the time that the campaigns ramped up in late September or early October, TA505 was targeting more industries, and the gang began to use both URL and attachment-based email campaigns. TA505 has begun to branch out. The crooks were initially targeting predominantly North American targets, such as the US and Canada, but eventually began to go after German-speaking countries like Germany and Austria, as the campaign's gained momentum. Noteworthy new developments include the updated version of the FlawedGrace RAT, along with retooled intermediate loader stages scripted in Rebol and Kickstart, which researchers said the gang is using instead of the previously popular Get2 downloader. The new downloaders perform similar functionality of reconnaissance and pulling in new stages, or the next stages. Emails contained an Excel attachment that, when opened and macros enabled, would lead to the download and running of an MSI file. Proofpoint said MSI files are used to install software on Windows systems, so as we see, this is predominantly Windows, or only for Windows right now. The MSI file, in turn, would execute an embedded Rebol loader, dubbed by Proofpoint as Mirror Blast. In a more recent campaign, one from October 13th, the gang began to abuse Microsoft and OneDrive branding on their landing page. Researchers noted that TA505 is now using multiple intermediate loaders before the delivery of the FlawedGrace rat, and they're coded in uncommon scripting languages like Rebol and Kickstart. The more things change, the more they stay the same, though. The intermediate loaders appear to serve the same purposes as Get2, a downloader that TA505 has been using since 2019 to deliver a variety of secondary payloads. The loaders perform minimal reconnaissance of an infected machine, such as collecting user domain and username information, and download further payloads, according to the write-up. Proofpoint picked up on similarities between current and older TA505 campaigns. For one, the Excel sheet lure spoofing Microsoft logos remained identical from a September 2nd, 2020 campaign to the one used in an October 6th, 2021 campaign. Other parallels involve domain naming conventions and code reuse that Proofpoint researchers found in parts of the delivery chain, such as in multiple parts of the landing page. Unwitting victims have to enable macros after opening the malicious Excel files in order for the malware writers to win the day. The code responsible for downloading the next stage MSI file was typically lightly obfuscated with filler characters, string reversing, or similar simple functions, and hidden in the document comments, title, in a cell, or other locations, the analysis noted. Given that TA505 changes TTPs and that they're considered trendsetters in the world of cybercrime, Proofpoint doesn't expect them to go away anytime soon. This threat actor does not limit its target set and is in fact an equal opportunist in the geographies and verticals it chooses to attack, an analyst noted. This, combined with TA505's ability to be flexible, focusing on what is the most lucrative and shifting its TTPs as necessary, make the actor a continued threat. They predicted that the future probably holds yet more novelty from the ever-shifting tricksters. Proofpoint researchers said, "We expect TA505 to continue to adjust its operations and methods, always with an eye on financial gain. Using intermediate loaders in its attack chain is also likely to become a longer-term technique employed by the threat actor." So, what can we learn? If you're in the retail or restaurants or finance industry, then you need to be on the lookout for suspicious activity attributed to the TTPs of TA505. Now that means incoming spam emails or phishing emails about legal claims, media abuse claims, situation reports, and health claims with either an Excel attachment or some type of Microsoft-based attachment, or a link to an external website that is most likely malicious or may ask you to download a particular Excel document. Now, then, when you open the document, it's going to ask you to enable macros, and that is where it is imperative that the security policies stipulate how to address macros within documents that are received via email. So it stresses the importance of having an education piece within your security processes and protocols. Employees and family members, the education of them has to happen so that they can act as the second line of defense in spotting and thwarting phishing attacks. The first line of defense, of course, being your anti-malware and anti-spamware software on the machines. This education must include policies about enabling macros or how to deal with macros on documents that they receive in attachments. This can be in written form. It could even be a video of an example of, so that they can visualize and keep it in mind every time they get an email and has an attachment, and they check the from to make sure that it's a legitimate, or they check the URL to make sure that it's a legitimate URL to Microsoft or to, OneDrive or whatever. Or processes of how they can verify whether that URL is correct or if it's maybe malicious. This education is imperative because, again, they are the second line of defense in keeping your home network or your employee network safe. The policies surrounding macros on documents that they receive via email or from a downloaded URL are the crux of the attack. Without the user performing this task when the file opens, meaning if they do not enable macros, the attack is stopped dead in its tracks. So with that, I say thanks again for watching. Don't forget to share and subscribe if you haven't already, and smash the bell if you haven't already, and I will see you on the next episode. Take care.